thought it was a stupid idea, but then, oh hey! Hi! Why'd you tell me these things are? How are you? It's me, Wilma Fingerdoo, with the Fingerdoo review of RuPaul's Drag Race Secret Celebrity Drag Race Edition, Episode 1 of Season 1. So, let's get to it. Oh, Jorge, drink me! Oh, thank you. Look at this. It's a well, that's a hell of a wedge of. What are you trying to tell me? I'm low on vitamin C. Oh, look at that. Oh, there we go. All right. Oh, good. All right. Here we go. What is this? Rye and Coke. Well, that's a nice classic cocktail. Thank you, Jorge. Seriously. All right. So let's get to it. Now, I have to say, out of the gate, I wasn't expecting very much from this show. I quite seriously, I thought it was going to be a gimmick. I was worried that the celebrities wouldn't be celebrities, that they'd be like Instagram people. And I'm not judging those people. I'm just saying that there's certainly more of a draw to see actors that are portrayed a certain way on TV or what have you, out of their element. That's what I find great about celebrity versions of anything, even if it's just a game show. Like, I really miss those game shows where celebrities used to be on like the $1,000 pyramid, or was it the $100,000 pyramid, or Password, where celebrities and famous celebrities, like, not just you walk in a room like, who is that? But so this was the case for me with this edition of RuPaul's Drag Race. Now, right away, I'm just going to say, I thought the intro to this show went on and on, unnecessarily long. In fact, at one point I thought, has the show started? Is this the show starting? Because they introduced us to the mentors, Trixie Mattel, Bob the Drag Queen, and Monet Exchange, and then showed us the secret celebrities being revealed, but not really, but they were behind something. And it was just very, I felt like it was a false start to the show. Like, this was the idea that they had to open the show with, but then they felt it wasn't strong enough, so they went with the more classic thing, which was then to just start the show with these celebrities entering the workroom. Now, I'm going to say, out of the gate right away, I had never heard of any of these people. I had never, I knew the shows that they were on. I'd heard of them, but they're not for me. But I just also have to say that getting to know these three celebrities was absolutely the big surprise for me for this show. Seriously. First through the workroom doors was Nico Tortorella, star of the TV show Younger and the author of a book called The Space Between. It's all about gender fluidity. Nico and their partner, spouse, are both gender fluid, non-binary, and I just find that whole openness about that so helpful, because it's still a very gray area for me, and I'm constantly afraid of misgendering people and all of that. So it was really great to find out that one of the first celebrities through the workroom door had that life experience behind them. On top of that, Nico has also done drag before. If you go on YouTube, there's a great tutorial with Trinity the Tuck where she gets Nico up in drag. And it's a great little tutorial. So I was able to at least have a reference for Nico. Next, through the workroom doors was Jordan Connor, who I'm glad to say is Canadian and one of the stars of Riverdale. Now, although Jordan has no experience being in drag, his wife predicted that he would make one pretty drag queen. I don't think she'll be wrong. Last, but certainly not least, through the workroom doors was comedian Jermaine Fowler, who is on the TV show. I don't know if they're still making the TV show, but he was on Superior Donuts. There's also been scuttlebutt about him being featured in Eddie Murphy's Coming to America, the sequel. But how I know Jermaine Fowler was back in 2012, he had a little YouTube web series called Homo Thugs, which was more of a commentary on the culture surrounding thugs. These two characters would sit on the stoop and just berate everybody and judge everyone. And if somebody looked gay, they would just mercilessly just berate them verbally. But then as they go on, you realize that they're closeted themselves. It's well worth watching. If Homo Thugs, check it out on YouTube. So Jermaine was an interesting person for me to see on the show because although straight, he certainly is not narrow. Just saying. But before the celebrities could get too comfortable, there was Ru with their mini challenge, which was a quick drag challenge. The celebrities had to get into quick drag and then get on these little kiddie push car little scootery things and go through an obstacle course where they had to get dressed, put on a wig and makeup, find shoes in a ball pit, and then perform a lip sync. It was pandemonium. I couldn't. First of all, for these celebrities not having any real experience in drag on their own, to have to go through all that by themselves, I was very intrigued, and it was just madness. Once the celebrities got into drag, well, Nico's dress was too short and proved it by letting everyone that the sun does actually shine out of there. Jordan, that was rough. That was rough. But surprised everyone when he burst through the curtains to the stage by voguing. He had some moves. He was hiding a few finishing moves in there. Jermaine, God bless him, looked a little rough, but in a hiding closet kind of way, so I wasn't mad at it. When everyone was done and the circuit was complete, it was no surprise that Mr. Surprise Voguing champion himself, Jordan, was the winner of the mini challenge. What did Jordan win? Well, he got to pick his drag mentor and then subsequently pair everyone else up with their drag mentor. I thought that was a very good win. So, who did Jordan pick as his drag mentor? Trixie Mattel. And why wouldn't he? First of all, Trixie is actually a makeup artist. She worked at MAC before she did her face. So I know people look at a Trixie Mattel face and go, oh, I don't know. But she actually does know what she's doing. So I thought that was a good choice. Jordan then teamed up Bob the Drag Queen with Jermaine Fowler, which made sense because they're both stand-up comics, which left Monet Exchange with Nico Tortorella. And then the work really started, seriously. Because this week's main challenge, Snatch Game. Sweet beats. I mean, usually with a regular season, we get 5 episodes in before they throw a Snatch Game at you. I mean, All-Stars, sure. Episode 1 or 2, they might do it just because, well, they're All-Stars. The best thing about the Maxi Challenge being Snatch Game? Everyone's seated. No one has to stand in heels. Nico was beside themselves because they wanted to do Lucille Ball. Now, I was nervous right out of the gate because Lucille Ball is so specific. It's like Marilyn Monroe. Like, that's so specific. If you don't get everything down, it's not just the look. It has to be the voice. It has to be the mannerisms. We're too familiar with Lucille Ball. So I was impressed for Nico's choice out of the gate. Apparently his second choice was Snooki, which I'm glad he didn't go with because Snooki's a lesser celebrity than Nico is. I'm just saying. As the Queen started to get to work, it was clear that Bob and Monet were going to reenact almost every episode of Sibling Rivalry for everyone's dining and dancing pleasure. Right there. In the workroom. Thank God there was a high heel shoe walk-off. And, you know, I'm always impressed to watch anybody walk in high heels for the first time. It's not women aren't built for it. High heel shoes are hard. They are not easy. Anybody that's putting them on for the first time is going to be a little uncomfortable. Unless, of course, you're Nico. Nico seemed to have no trouble whatsoever and took to the heels like a duck to water. As for the other celebs, it could have been a lot worse. So the next day in the workroom, the queens got their celebrities ready. Nico shaved. Not everything, but the face. And God, they look like such a baby after they shaved. I can see why they keep the scruff, I'm just saying. Jermaine seemed to be fretting a little bit about the lip sync, but not enough to do anything about it, I'm just saying. Jordan and Trixie seem to be doing a lot of bonding. I like that Jordan, even though he has gay siblings, was nervous at getting up into drag, and you could see, like Trixie even said that she could see that he was getting nervous and worrying that he would clam up. But then I love that Trixie said that some gay men don't like to get up into drag, or they're not comfortable in drag. It's very divisive, and I thought that they also just bonded as people. Trixie saying that she doesn't know a lot of straight men. I get that. I understand that. And I think it's important for us to keep challenging our own limitations. If you've never experienced a friendly straight person, that doesn't mean you shouldn't keep exposing yourself to them, because sooner or later you're going to be surprised. And I mean exposing, not exposing, I'm just saying, just, you know, if you're exposing yourself to straight people and they're angry at you, it's you. But Jordan talking about how when he was in his football years, he would never have put on drag, but now as an older person, he's much more secure in his masculinity to do it. That whole conversation then morphed into Nico bringing up that as actors, they always have to be a certain way visually if they want to be leading man material, and how that's starting to change. And then, of course, Jermaine talked about how, well, in the Black community, there are these expectations and these limitations. And it was an incredible conversation that I was not expecting on a celebrity version of RuPaul's Drag Race. So, seriously, already this show is excellent. And then Trixie, Bob, and Monet got to work on the celebrities' makeup. I am just going to say right out of the gate, I could not get over how good Nico looked. Monet did an excellent job. She's an excellent makeup artist. I had no idea. I'm not saying that I didn't expect good things from any of these queens, but Monet wasn't really known for great big makeup in her season. I mean, she fixed all that for All Stars and everything, but I was really impressed. Not only did Nico look fish, but there was definitely an inkling of Lucille Ball there. So well done to Monet, I'm just saying. Personally, I'm super glad that Trixie said she was only half done with Jordan's makeup, because you could see there was beauty starting to happen there, but very ashy. In fact, I thought she was going to be playing like a ghost in that Fiddler on the Roof scene in the cemetery. Do you know what I mean? Very ashy, a lot of dark colors. There was no cut crease. There was not a lot of openness to the face. There was a lot of coverage, and it seemed to kind of stifle her. Seriously. But the biggest surprise was Jermaine's makeup reveal. Because at first, like anyone, just shocked and laughing, but almost right after he became so emotional. Because he looked just like his mother. They even showed us a picture of his beautiful mother. Oh my God. And Nico's mother had just died a year ago. So very fresh, very new. He's still missing his mom. And you know, that never goes away. But oh, you could see it was a very, very cathartic moment. And I just think that it was a great way for him to connect to the drag that he was putting on. Because I think for some people it can be quite frightening and a big disconnect. Like Jordan, who looked in the mirror, didn't see himself at all. Jermaine saw his mother. I just thought it was very touching and really showed a great side to Jermaine Fowler that I don't think most people would ever get an opportunity to experience. So here's to you, Jermaine. God bless you. And then it was time for the runway. And thank God Ru wore this dress for the celebrity special, because it was gorgeous. The purple and silver fantasy. I am so serious. And joining Ru, as usual, or most times, on the judging panel, of course, our very own Michelle Visage, who revealed that her drag name is Merle Ginsburg. Carson Kressley was there too, letting the world know that his drag name is Lisa Nusanada. Which, when he said it the first time, I was like, what did he say? And that's very funny. God bless Carson, I'm so serious. Last but not least, Ross Matthews, who revealed that his drag name is Mimi I'm Tucking. Somehow or another I knew that. I don't know why. First up, the Snatch Game. I have to say, I really enjoyed this version of the Snatch Game. I love that Ru was in drag. I also didn't mind Ru sitting at the judging panel reading the questions out to everybody. And I'm also glad that somebody else filled out the celebrity panel. Bob, the drag queen, was... Well, Bob, the drag queen. But Monet and Trixie were the contestants. And I have to say, I think everyone did good. Now, we have to remind ourselves that on some level that these are actors. These are people who maybe aren't comfortable in drag, but comfortable performing, comfortable in front of people. And keep this in mind. This was in front of a live audience. So these celebrities were in drag in front of an audience, playing somebody they've never played before and improvising while they're doing it. I have to say, I think they all did a brilliant job, seriously. Jordan as Chrissy Teigen, I felt still looked a little ashy, but his personality as Chrissy was hilarious. He had great comebacks. That whole cookbook prop joke was funny. All in all, there was just this persona that he gave Chrissy Teigen that was just bordering on a little bitchy, a little smarmy. It was very funny. And all in all, I was really impressed. Good for him, seriously. Jermaine Fowler's idea to do his impression of Kevin Hart in drag as Kavina Hart was so funny. I just was so pleased that was the route they went. Because the Whoopi Goldberg thing, we've all been down the Whoopi road. It's not as much fun as it sounds, I'll tell you what. But I was really impressed with Jermaine. In fact, his performance was the best out of all of them. He was listening to what was being said to him. His responses were in character, relevant to what was being said. He took chances. He had that little lipstick, I'm voting myself out, and headed for the gate. Even that whole thing where, are you standing right now? Because, well, Kevin Hart's not a tall man. But then, bless him, neither is Jermaine. But it was just very, very funny and clearly the judges' favorite performance. I mean, the audience, the judges, me, everyone was laughing. Well done, Jermaine. Seriously. Not to be outdone, Nico Tortorella's Lucille Ball was fantastic. I know queens that have been performing for years who don't do as good a Lucy as Nico did. That said, the voice wasn't exactly right, but Nico got a lot of the the biggest problem with Nico's performance as Lucille Ball, though, was some of the answers didn't seem to make sense. They were just gibberish, and they didn't strike me as things that Lucille Ball would have said or done. Even Nico's nod to that famous Vita Vita Vegemin sketch with Lucille Ball, but making it a bottle of Ginger Minge's vagina was hilarious, but it just was random, and it just kind of seemed inserted and then removed. So I feel out of the three performances, even though Nico looked the best, it wasn't my favorite, I'm just saying. And then it was time for the runway, and first out was Jordan, aka Babykins LaRue, and oh my god, she took my breath away. There was no ash on that face at all. I mean, there was a lot of highlight. There was maybe a little too much, but it worked with the blonde hair and the hot lights and the whole RuPaul at the MTV Awards outfit. Oh my god, the only disappointment, the only thing that took me out of the fantasy was, well, there didn't seem to be Spanx or a corset on under Nico's outfit. There was some, and I'm not saying there shouldn't be bulges and ripples, but on a dress like that, you'd think it would just be a little smoother. That's just me being picky. Also, God bless Jordan, but that walk as Babykins LaRue, oh, that was rough. She looked like she was pulling a plow. Oh, bless her. Yeah, we can see that she played football, I'm just saying. Next down the runway was Miss Mimi Teapot. And let me just say, right out of the gate, she looked nervous, she looked uncomfortable, she didn't, but that's it, she looked good. There's something about a strong chin. I think you can be as nervous as you want, but if you have a strong chin, you're gonna get through it. Or hammer nails, I don't know. But I thought that Jermaine's presentation of Miss Mimi Teapot was was just lovely. Another one, heels not her friend, I'm just saying. But the actual shock for me on this runway was Nico Tortorella. Oh my God, they looked so good. First of all, there was a completely different makeup on their face because they went from a redhead to a blonde. And that sculpted wig, and combine that with Nico's bone structure and that strong chin and good cheekbones. I was stunned. I couldn't believe that was Nico. They looked so good, and that red outfit was delicious, I'm just saying. So after the judges' critique, the queens retired to the Untucked Lounge to prepare for the lip sync. But what it was really for was surprise visits from family and friends. Jordan's fiance and his sister showed up. And what was great was Jordan had his back to the door. So when somebody said, "Oh, there's somebody coming in," Jordan turned and his sister and fiance looked at him. And then he looked, and then they realized who he was. They had no idea. They would have walked right by him or maybe crossed the street to avoid him. Nico's friends Ryan and Courtney showed up, and they were very, very impressed by the whole experience, you could tell, and thrilled to see Nico in drag, but they didn't seem to be particularly surprised by anything they were looking at. Me either. But the most touching moment for me was when Jermaine's girlfriend Megan showed up, because not only was she just surprised to see him, but she even brought up how much Jermaine looked like his mother, and it was very touching. You could see tears and emotion, and it was just a really lovely moment of untuckedness without actually having to watch another episode of Untucked. I'm just saying. And then it was time for the queens to hit the runway and lip sync for the crown in front of a live audience. Barf. OMG. As if just doing all this on its own wasn't hard enough. Now in front of witnesses? Sweet beats. And I have to say, they all did an excellent job because, again, this is not in their wheelhouse. There's no part of their trajectory that says, oh, you have to be good at this now. But I have to tell you, I was super impressed with Babykins LaRue, a.k.a. Jordan. He had very masculine moves and everything, but he made eye contact with the audience. He was there. He wasn't afraid to go to the back of the runway and walk down with his wings up. And I thought he did a great job. Another queen that tore up that lip sync was Olivette Is You, a.k.a. Nico. She was blonde and gorgeous, and she did everything a drag queen is supposed to do. And as Nico had discussed with Monet, Nico had wanted to not tuck and show themselves not tucked. So there was this moment when Olivette had just whipped off her red skirt. She had her little red G-string thing on, and there she was in all her glory. Unfortunately, that left Jermaine, a.k.a. Ms. Mimi Teapot. And I thought that, first of all, Ms. Teapot was doing great out of the gate. But then there was this moment, I don't know how it fell apart in the editing or what, but there were just these weird random moments where Ms. Teapot looked like she was either waiting for a bus or was just bored, just kind of standing there. And then she would do, clearly, as promised, Jermaine was not lying when he said he was not ready for that lip sync. And it was too bad, because that performance in the Snatch Game was so good that I feel if Jermaine had stepped up that lip sync just a bit, just made an effort to just have all the words down and maybe a finishing move or two in there. Because Jordan surprised everyone again when Babykins LaRue finished the lip sync on the beat in a drop split. Very impressive. And I have to say, it was no surprise to me that the winner of this week of RuPaul's Secret Celebrity Drag Race was Babykins LaRue, a.k.a. Jordan Connor, who's Canadian, and he won $30,000 for the Cystic Fibrosis of Canada Foundation. And so hooray for Jordan. what a boon for cystic fibrosis, period. But the nice thing was that both Nico and Jermaine's charities also got $10,000. So all in all, it was a win-win-win situation for everyone. And I have to say, I wasn't expecting much from this show. I was expecting to just kind of watch it and go, okay. But seriously, I laughed, I cried, had a cocktail. It was a full tilt boogie experience for me, and I hope it was for you too. So, there's only 3 more episodes. We're going to have, from what I understand, 3 different celebrities per episode, and it sounds like there will be cis women, which I'm excited because I'm not a fan. No, let me rephrase this. I don't think women doing drag is a bad thing. I don't think it's a wrong thing. I look at it this way. If you wanted to do something your whole life, like marry the person you love, and somebody told you couldn't do it because no one had done it up till now, you would feel bad. And we did as a group, the LGBTQ community. So we changed it. Now we're standing here with drag as the new cultural horizon, and we say to women, well, you can't do drag because it's dressed as a girl. Well, let me say, most women don't go around dressed as girls either. They're just going through life dressed as people. Sure, they might be wearing pastels and florals and lighter fabrics and skirts and things that differentiate from a cis male attire. But drag is a different kettle of fish, and not everyone can do it. Not everyone feels comfortable in it. And I, for one, think that if you want to put on all that makeup and all that rubber and strap yourself in and be uncomfortable for the better part of an evening while people poke and prod you, then here's to you. Have at it and enjoy it. That's just my take on it. So I'm excited to see those celebrities show up. How about you? Well, we've only got 3 more episodes, so even if you don't like it, you don't have to watch them. You might not miss it, or you can watch them and, what else are you doing? You're on lockdown. What else you got to do? Seriously. But make sure you leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought of this episode, what you were expecting, maybe what you were wishing had happened. And also, don't forget to like this video, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. God bless you. And if you're feeling up to it, don't forget to support me on either PayPal, Patreon, or Redbubble, where I got merch. You heard me. Shut your face. All the links are down below. Until next time, miss me. Mwah. Seriously.